Something that you hate about relationship is this idea of it being a ball and chain, this thing that is just meant to hold you back or to kind of keep you tied down. Then I want to talk to you today, right? And this is whether or not it feels actively like it is a ball and chain now, or if you're like avoiding a relationship because you don't want that to happen, or if you're experiencing a relationship that feels pretty good now, but you're just like, I definitely don't want it to ever feel like a ball and chain, or you want to be aware of it if it's going down that road a lot sooner, then today's video is for you. My name is Jaclyn Foster, and I am a relationship and fulfillment coach. And it's one of my greatest passions to help people shift from unsatisfied and unfulfilled to feeling more passion, to feeling more love, to feeling more excited in their own lives, but also about their relationship. So if you enjoy this content you're about to hear and you want more, make sure to like and subscribe. And also, if you want to stay connected in other ways and know how that's possible, feel free to take a look in the comments below. I also have one-on-one coaching spots open, so you can take a look there to learn more about it. So, okay, how do we avoid relationship feeling like a ball and chain, or how do we address it if it feels like that? Well, one thing that I need to point out to start, because this is really, really important and tied into the whole thing, is this concept of relationship feeling like a ball and chain is one that has been around for a while, right? It's been kind of a story of what's carried down and what happens in relationship. And it's something that can be really easy to fall into because it's the social norm, right? It's the habit. It's the spoken and the unspoken rules about relationship, right? Oh yeah, you meet someone, you start to date them, you get engaged, you get married, you have kids or not, and then you work really hard, maybe take a few vacations, and then you retire and die, right? Like there's kind of this thread of just like that's what you do that goes through both how to live your life, but also how to live a relationship, but that feels like kind of stagnant. You know, it's like you follow these really specific steps and then you're done. And for a lot of us, right, that feel, and I imagine a lot of you watching, there's this desire for more, right? You want to feel like life and love is something that you're excited about, right? And not just until your wedding day and then it's done, or not just until you're together for like 3 or 4 years and then you're like, we want it to be something that has that continual excitement and that freedom. Because as much as we love stability as humans and having consistency and safety and stability, we all are really, really drawn and need a sense of adventure and freedom and the expansion, like that there's an ability to continually evolve and expand in whatever way that feels right and true for us. So I want to invite you to think and shift from thinking of relationship more like that ball and chain, right, where it's in this metal box where there's metal, where it's really hard for life to grow because things are just so stagnant and stuck, to thinking of it like a wild garden that you and your partner get to cultivate, where you continually get to plant seeds, give them space and love, let them grow, right? Maybe even have areas where it's your garden and it's their garden, the other person's garden, and then it's your joint part of the garden, right? Like you totally get to create it, but you get to plant seeds together and you get to let them grow. You bring life to it, you cultivate it, you continually are growing it and evolving it. And for me, I love that visual. I'm actually staying in an Airbnb right now where there is this beautiful, gorgeous garden space. And the host has taken me around the garden, and there's like so many different herbs and fruits and veggies, and there's this thing I'd never heard of until I was here, but it's called miner's lettuce, and it's kind of like this green, earthy, a little bitter tasting green. And she's like, yeah, it's all over the place, feel free to go get some. It's just such a trip, and it feels amazing to have this beautiful yard space where there's so much life, where there's things that I'm like I didn't even know about that are here and that I can eat them. You know, it's this whole really fun, exciting, beautiful thing to witness. And I'm seeing how much I want to keep experiencing relationship in that way, right? Because your desires are what you want for your life, what you want for your life as an individual, and what you want for a couple. That is not the generic things that you were told you should want, but they're actually the desires that live in you as an individual, that you want to cultivate because they mean something to you. And right, because we don't want to get into marriage or relationship boxing ourselves in any way. No one wants to feel that. Even though we might have fear of loss and fear of our needs not getting met if we were to share our desires, we still have the desires no matter what. So why not start to cultivate those environments where we can actually share them and create them? And so I want to bring it just from a kind of like this broad analogy just down to specifics for just a moment before we wrap up, in saying that when you're sharing desires, right, desires can fully span the map. And sometimes desire can feel like a scary word, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, like there's things that I want. What if they don't like it? And we'll sort of start to have desires, and then we'll stop ourselves right before we're like really willing to share them or be honest about them. So I want to be clear that desires are just simply things that you want to see in your life, that you authentically, like truly within you, would love to see and experience for yourself or in your relationship. And this can be super small and simple stuff, from, hey, I don't think I want to watch TV every night. Like tonight I'd rather read a book, or I'd love to go for a walk tonight, right? It can be simple things of just having a pull to kind of shift your daily habit to something that feels new and fresh. It could be something like talking about sexual desires or romantic desires, things that you want to experience alone or as a couple. And again, when you share a desire, it doesn't mean you're going to go out and do it tomorrow, right? You know, this isn't, you're not trying to do everything in a day. You're trying to plant seeds and create a new environment for your relationship and your marriage to flourish. So again, it could be discussing or just starting to share broadly and just open a conversation about sexual desires, but it could also be creating space for you to pursue individual desires. Whether it be taking some time to travel, or even living apart, or opening up or closing your relationship in certain ways. I think so much more of that has to be allowed to have a conversation. And the crazy thing is, I just have to say this, because if you haven't experienced this a lot, I really want to share this because this is an important piece. And if you have experienced this, I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that is so true. This is the crazy thing, is so often when we start to just be honest and tell the truth and share our desires, we fear that we're going to lose people, and we might lose some, and relationships might change. But so often this incredibly beautiful thing happens, that when we're honest and when we both share our desires and we welcome our partner sharing their desires, there's only more love and gratitude and expansion, because we're both feeling a sense of freedom. Which is magical, right? It's so magical to be in connection with someone and to feel like you can still really truly feel free to be yourself and to continually grow and evolve. So I would actually love to hear from you. One, I would love to know, when you think about relationship and marriage and long-term being with someone, what's your first gut reaction? Do you resonate with thinking, oh yeah, oh my gosh, ball and chain, stuck for life is over? What is your first response? Maybe you even think, oh, relationship is beautiful, relationship is love. So you might have a kind of a negative feeling response or a positive feeling response. I'd love to know what your initial response is when you think about long-term relationship and marriage. And then if this video has sparked you to kind of think about it differently, I'd also love to hear, what do you want to see relationship as? Do you like this idea of thinking about it like a wild garden? Or is there something else that feels more exciting? I don't know. Would you like to think about it like a jungle, or I don't know, an ocean sail? I don't know. I would love to hear what first comes up for you and what you would like to think it to be. So share your thoughts below. And again, if there's any, or as always, if there's any thoughts or questions or comments that you have, feel free to leave those below. Again, feel free to like and subscribe so you can stay connected and notified when more videos come out. Wishing you an amazing, amazing day, and always encouraging you to listen to that voice that helps you stay true to yourself, stay true to your desires, and encouraging that expansion and growth for both you and your partner, because more is always possible. So much love, mwah, and I'll see you next time.